Congressman Eric Swalwell joins us, the Democratic congressman there, former presidential candidate. What do you think of that, Congressman? People who want to worship tomorrow of any faith, and doing so at whether it be a synagogue, whether it be a church, or, they want to do it. What would you advise?
Well, first, happy Easter, or Chag Sameach if you're observing Passover, and I'm sorry that that's not the case. I wish I could be at church tomorrow celebrating Easter as well, but I'm going to follow the guidelines. And actually, the vice president, a person certainly of faith, is telling church leaders to observe the CDC guidelines. And the sooner we all observe them, the sooner we all can get back to our houses of worship.
Congressman, have you given much thought? I do want to get into stimulus because I know that's what we're here to talk about, but to what would make you comfortable unwinding some of these stay-at-home or shelter-in-place provisions? What would you want to look for in consultation with others in your state, the governor, what have you? Because there are a lot of different factors. What would be something that would say, all right, I could see loosening up a bit?
Yeah, I've given a lot of thought to this, Neil, because I want to get back to reopening America as soon as possible. And so I think first and foremost, county by county, looking at the hospitalization cases, as soon as you start to see a steady decline where on Wednesday you had fewer cases than you did on Tuesday, and so on. Second, wider access to diagnostic testing that can tell us if people have antibodies so that they are immune. I believe that areas that, like the Bay Area, by the way, in Alameda County, my home county, we have just around 700 cases. That is remarkably low. We were the first to shelter in place, so we should be able to shelter out of place very soon. But I think that may mean having travel restrictions on anyone coming to the Bay Area from places with higher cases, or they're not starting to come down. So just as we phase into a shelter in place, I think we can phase out. And maybe it's restaurants being open at half capacity, non-essential workers going back to work but following physical distancing guidelines. But access to testing, wide access, not just to knowing if you have COVID, but also if you had it in the past, that would make me feel comfortable. And I just think some areas are going to come out of it faster, and they're going to have to protect against the areas that aren't out of it yet.
Congressman, there's been a big battle between Republicans and Democrats over this additional $250 billion in financing that would work to beef up these small business loans and or grants. We had Chuck Grassley on a little earlier, sir, was saying Democrats should know that there's going to be follow-up stimulus and relief. Now is not the time to do it with this. Where are you on that?
Well, I want more relief to come, whether it's $250 billion or more. I think we'll probably need more. What we're saying, though, right now is that get the money out the door that we already voted on. We spoke with Secretary Mnuchin on a House Democratic call on Wednesday, and he said of the $349 billion to go to small businesses, only $96 billion has gone out as of Wednesday. So we're all for, continuing to provide relief, but we want to get the money out that's already been promised. And we want to make sure the next tranche of dollars goes to the areas that are hardest hit, particularly in minority communities, particularly among African-American communities, where we're learning from CDC guidelines that they have been hit harder by this. So we want to do it right, but we want to get the money that's already been appropriated out now.
All right, well, the figure's up to about $125 billion right now. So they have contemplated that the demand is such, Congressman, that maybe by the end of the week after next, all that money will be gone. That's why they're hot to trot to get this additional money out there, because the demand is overwhelming. Would you consider holding it up for any of these other requests that you're making?
No, again, it's just to make sure that it's going to the right places, that we're not, it's not giveaways to big businesses who don't need it. But I talk to small business owners every single day, every single hour, actually, in my district. I know that they're applying, they're hearing from the banks that the loans are on hold and the money is not coming through, or at least not as much of it that they need. I want to make sure that as much as our small businesses need to pay their employees comes through. And I also, again, want us to be able to reopen Main Street as soon as it's feasible.
All right, Congressman Swalwell, thank you for taking the time. Continued good health to you and your family and your residents.